Imagine this, a mother who spends her entire life savings on her son and daughter-in-law. House rent, furniture, wedding expenses, medical emergencies. Every time, she transfers the money without a second thought. Her own dreams, a trip to Europe, a new hearing aid, a comfortable armchair, she postpones them all. And in return, just a quick thank you on a video call, or sometimes nothing at all. Is this a mother's love, or the children's exploitation? Hearing this seemingly true story today will make your heart weep, and perhaps force you to reflect on your own life. Watch the entire video to know the full truth, because the twist at the end will shake you. 3 years ago, on a quiet tree-lined street in a mid-sized American town, a modest but warm two-story home stood with flower boxes in the windows. Renata Richter, a widowed woman in her late 60s, was packing grocery bags in her kitchen. Her late husband's photo smiled from the fridge. She checked her bank app. The balance was low, but she smiled anyway. They're starting out. Young people need help. Her phone buzzed. A text from her son Max: "Mom, rent is tight this month. Can you cover? Love you." Renata transferred $500 without hesitation. Over time, a pattern built. Renata handed over cash for furniture. She assembled IKEA shelves alone in their empty apartment while Max and his girlfriend Lena were out. She filled 2 grocery carts, one for herself and one for them. At Christmas, she wrapped expensive gifts alone, and they opened them over video call with quick thanks. There was Lena's medical emergency. Renata wired $800. A car breakdown. A $2,500 loan never repaid. Air conditioner repair.
$600.
Money for Lena's personal expenses before the wedding. Each time, Renata's savings dwindled. Her own dreams, a trip to Europe, new hearing aids, a better chair for her arthritis, were postponed. Photos of her recent trip to Europe showed Renata smiling in front of the Eiffel Tower, arms wide and free. A small gathering filled the room. Her sister Diana visiting from Chicago. Neighbor Mrs. Adler. New friends Martha and Helen from the seniors walking group. They laughed over coffee and homemade cake. To my brave sister, who finally learned that love isn't a checking account. Hear, hear. Renata, you look 10 years younger. I feel 20 years younger. No more waiting for phone calls that only came when rent was due. Have they tried contacting you again? Oh yes. Letters. Emails. One tearful voicemail from Max saying they made mistakes, and could we start over if I just helped with the new car payment. Classic. My lawyer handled it. A polite cease and desist. They went quiet after that. And the best part, you're living. Actually living. Renata looked around at faces that lit up when they saw her, not her bank balance. I spent decades confusing generosity with love. Giving everything so they'd need me. Turns out all it did was teach them I was disposable. To the special people in this room. The ones who show up because they want to, not because they need something. Later that night, after the guests left, Renata cleared the table humming an old song her husband used to love. The doorbell rang late and unexpected. She checked the new security camera. Max stood alone on the porch. He looked thinner, older, defeated. She opened the door, only a crack, the chain still on. "Mom, can I come in?" "What do you want, Max?" "I just wanted to see you. It's been a year. You saw me plenty when you needed money." "That's not fair. Lena and we've had a hard time. We lost the apartment. Had to move in with her parents. I lost my job. I know we hurt you. The wedding, everything. I was weak." Lena pushed for the small things, said it would be easier, cheaper. I went along.
I'm sorry. And now?
Why are you really here? I miss you. I miss us. There was no us for a long time, Max. There was me giving and you taking. Until the day you decided I wasn't even worth an invitation to your wedding. I know. I hate myself for it. Good. You should. But hate isn't enough. Change is. We're trying. Therapy. Budgeting. I'm looking for better work. If you could just help us get back on our feet.
No.
Mom, please. I said no. Not because I don't love you. Because I finally love myself more. You're 36 years old. Capable. Intelligent. You'll figure it out. Like I did. Alone. You're really going to leave your only son out in the cold? You left me out in the cold long before this, Max. The difference is I let the door stay open. Now I've closed it. For my own warmth.
I'm sorry, Mom. Truly.
I hope one day you mean that without needing something from me. When that day comes, maybe we'll talk. She closed the door, gently locked it, leaned against it for a moment, tears in her eyes, but wiped them away quickly. She walked back to the kitchen, poured herself a small glass of wine, and raised it to the empty room. To new beginnings. 1 month later, in the park, Renata walked with her group, laughing and leading the conversation. She passed the old playground, paused, and smiled at a young mother pushing her toddler on the swing. The child waved. Renata waved back. I used to think being needed was the same as being loved. I was wrong. Being respected, that's love. And I have plenty now. Money and love must be kept in separate pockets. When one is used to buy, the other both lose their value. I gave away $33,000 trying to buy a place in my son's life. The real price was my dignity. Taking it back, priceless. On her porch at golden hour, Renata sat watching the sunset. No phone buzzing.
No guilt.
No waiting. She smiled, a deep, earned smile. I am special. And I always was. 6 months later, Renata's garden bloomed like never before. She'd taken up horticulture in her walking group, something one of the women, a retired botanist named Clara, had suggested. Roses climbed the trellis she'd built herself, vibrant reds and soft pinks against the white porch railing. She knelt in the dirt most mornings, hands gloved, pulling weeds with a satisfaction that no amount of money had ever given her. Her phone rang less these days. No frantic calls from Max or Lena about overdue bills or unexpected expenses. She'd changed her number quietly, after the 3rd unanswered voicemail from Max pleading for just a little help to get through the month. It wasn't cruelty, she told herself. It was preservation. One afternoon, as she pruned the lavender, a familiar car pulled into the driveway. Max stepped out alone, looking thinner, his hair cropped short, wearing a clean button-down shirt that actually fit. No Lena in sight. Renata straightened, wiping her hands on her apron. She didn't move to greet him. "Mom," he said, voice steady but quiet. "I didn't come to ask for anything." She raised an eyebrow, waiting. He shifted, hands in his pockets. "Lena and I were separated. She left last month. Said I needed to grow up." A bitter laugh escaped him. "She was right about that, I guess." Renata nodded slowly. "And therapy?" "Still going. Twice a week now. On my own dime." He paused, looking at the garden. "I got the job, the one at the engineering firm. Starting salary's decent. Enough to cover rent on a small apartment. Budgeting's hard, but I'm doing it. No more takeout every night, no more impulse buys." She studied his face. The boyish defiance was gone, replaced by something weary but real. "I'm not here for forgiveness yet," he continued. "I know I don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know. I'm trying. Really trying. Not because I need something, but because I hate who I was. The way I treated you. The wedding, the money, all of it. You were right, I took, and when you finally said no, I acted like a child." Renata felt the old ache stir, but it was softer now, distant. "What do you want from me, Max?" "Nothing. Just to tell you that. And maybe someday, if I keep at this, we could have coffee."
No strines. No fathers.
She considered him for a long moment. The sun warmed her back, the scent of lavender thick in the air. "One day at a time," she said finally. "Prove it with actions, not words. When you're ready, and I mean truly ready, call the old number. It still forwards to me." He nodded, eyes glistening but no tears falling. "Thank you, Mom." As he drove away, Renata returned to her roses. She clipped a dead bloom, watching it fall to the earth. Later that evening, at the community center where her group now met for book club, Clara pulled her aside. "You seem lighter these days, Renata. Whatever you're doing, keep it up." Renata smiled, genuine and wide. "I am. And I've started volunteering at the women's shelter downtown, teaching financial literacy classes. Turns out, setting boundaries isn't just for family, it's a skill worth sharing." Clara laughed. You'll have them all planting gardens next. Maybe, Renata said. Growth takes time. Dirt under your nails. Patience. That night, on her porch again, the sunset painted the sky in fiery oranges. Renata poured her wine, raised the glass once more. To boundaries, she whispered.
To growth.
To love that's earned, not bought. She sipped slowly, the warmth spreading through her like roots finding solid ground. For the first time in years, the future felt entirely her own. 1 year later, Renata stood at the entrance of the small community hall she had helped fund, ribbon in hand. The sign above the door read, Second Bloom Women's Center. It wasn't grand, just a renovated storefront with bright windows, a kitchen, a meeting room, and a tiny garden out back, but it was hers.
Theirs.
The women who had walked with her, cried with her, learned alongside her over the past 18 months had turned shared stories into shared action. Clara held the oversized scissors. You should do the honors, she said. Renata shook her head. We all cut. She passed the scissors around the circle. 8 women, all over 50, all with their own versions of closed doors and reclaimed lives. Together, they snipped the ribbon. Applause rippled from the small crowd, neighbors, volunteers, a reporter from the local paper. Inside, the center smelled of fresh paint and coffee. On the wall hung a framed quote in Renata's own careful handwriting. Money and love must be kept in separate pockets. Below it, smaller plaques carried anonymous stories from the financial literacy graduates. I paid off my daughter's loan. I stopped co-signing my brother's mistakes. I finally said no and slept through the night. Renata's classes had grown. What started as Tuesday evenings at the shelter now filled 2 nights a week here. Women came with spreadsheets and shame, left with budgets and pride. She never told her own story outright, but they felt it in her voice, in the way she never flinched when they described years of being the family ATM. That evening, after the open house, she found an envelope in the suggestion box. Plain white, her name typed on the front. Inside, a single sheet. Mom, I've been coming to your Thursday class for 3 weeks. I sit in the back row, baseball cap low. You haven't noticed me. Thank you for that. I'm proud of you. Prouder than I've ever been of anything in my life. What you've built here, it's saving people. It's saved me, even if I'm learning it secondhand through strangers. I have 6 months of solid bills paid, 8 months sober from credit card debt, and a promotion coming next quarter. Therapy is down to once a month now. I'm dating someone who likes me, not my potential bailout. I'm not asking to come home for holidays yet. I know I haven't earned that table, but I wanted you to know the work is real. The change is real. One day, when you're ready, I'll be at the coffee shop on Maple and 3rd every Saturday at 10 a.m. No pressure. Just coffee, black, the way you drink it. I love you. Not for what you can give. For who you are.
Max.
Renata read it twice, folded it carefully, and slipped it into her pocket. She didn't cry. She smiled, the deep, earned kind that had become her default. 2 months after that, on a crisp spring Saturday, she walked into the coffee shop on Maple and 3rd at 10:05. Max was already there, 2 mugs on the table, black coffee steaming in front of an empty chair. He stood when he saw her. Not dramatic, just respectful.
Mom. Max.
They sat. The first minutes were quiet, careful. Then words came, slow, honest, unhurried. About work, about the center, about the garden she'd expanded to include vegetables this year. About his new apartment with actual matching furniture bought on sale, no loans attached. About the woman he was seeing who had her own savings account and boundaries like steel. No apologies that day. They'd been said enough.
No promises.
Those were being lived. When they parted 2 hours later, he asked, Same time next week? Renata nodded. I'll bring scones from the bakery you used to like. He smiled. Older, steadier. I'd like that. That summer, Max became a quiet volunteer at Second Bloom. He fixed leaky faucets, built bookshelves, and once, only once, sat in on a men's boundary setting. Workshop Renata had reluctantly agreed to pilot. He never took center stage. He just showed up, did the work, and left. At the annual garden party fundraiser, Renata stood on the small porch of the center, looking out at fairy lights strung through the backyard, women laughing over plates of potluck food, children chasing fireflies. Clara clinked a glass beside her. To the woman who taught us all how to close the door, so we could open others. Renata raised her glass of sparkling cider. To every woman who finally chose herself. Later, alone on her own porch again, sunset bleeding gold across the sky, her phone buzzed. A text from Max, a photo of the tomatoes he'd grown on his tiny balcony, red, ripe, imperfect but thriving. Underneath, learned from the best. Renata saved the photo, poured her evening glass of wine, and lifted it to the quiet dusk. To close doors, she whispered. To open hearts. To love that arrives only after respect has moved in. She drank deeply, the night air sweet with jasmine from her garden, and felt, for the first time in decades, completely, utterly at home in her own life.